Hi, my name is Shyla Trost and I'm the owner of PaperMuse.co, and today I wanted to make a video going over what I call the anatomy of a wedding invitation suite. Every couple is different, every wedding is different, and the needs for each couple in each wedding for their wedding invitation suite is different. That's the beauty of having your wedding invitations custom designed. You can pick and choose what is necessary for you as a couple for your wedding and leave out the rest. We're going to get started with what the brass tacks are of a basic wedding invitation suite. This can be different for everyone. But first, of course, you have your wedding invitation. This is what's going to get your guests there. And this can be designed in any way that you would like. And this is essentially the first look that your guests will get, and it sets the tone for what your guests can expect at your wedding, whether your wedding is going to be more traditional, is it going to be more demure, or is it going to be more playful, vibrant, fun? Is it going to be more contemporary, more modern? This is what really presents your wedding to your guests, and it's important. And it's also something that you should be able to keep as a keepsake for the rest of your life, as a beautiful symbol of your wedding. So we have the invitation itself. Most wedding invitations also come with what is called an RSVP card. An RSVP card is what your guests will use to communicate to you whether they will be attending your wedding or not. Traditionally, RSVP cards would be mailed back in what is called an RSVP envelope. This, if you do use a mail-in RSVP, you will need to have the address of where you'd like these cards to be returned to, as well as making sure that you stamp each and every RSVP envelope. Etiquette states your guests should not be paying for postage for this envelope, so you pre-postage it. Most brides are still using a traditional RSVP option, but as we evolve, of course, and become more digital, these RSVP cards can often include a QR code that your guests can use to RSVP on your wedding website, should you have one. And yes, we can make a QR code for you. We can even make custom designed QR codes. So if you have any concern about making a QR code, leave it to us. Also, this is something that we call a details card. This card can contain all of that extra essential information that you need your guests to know about when they are deciding whether they are going to attend your wedding or not. This typically includes invitation to your reception, which will include the address, the time that the reception begins, when dinner will be served, when dancing will begin, things of that nature. It can also include a short blip on directions if necessary. It can include accommodation information. It can also include your wedding website, again, the URL to your wedding website, which is something that we highly recommend that you do, because on your wedding website you can be more verbose. On the details card, it's typically more economical that you be less verbose and you only put the essential information. Traditionally, wedding invitations included a separate reception card, accommodations card, directions card. And this is definitely still something that we offer. However, with budget in mind, for most couples, it's not necessary to put all of those additional cards into a wedding invitation suite unless it's something that's very important to you. If it is, of course, we can do it. However, if you would like to keep your budget down, keep your pricing down, you can put all of that information onto one card and direct your guests to your wedding website or another space where they can access all of that detailed information about your wedding. This is an outer envelope. This is what, of course, your invitation will be mailed in. It needs to have the address of your guests as well as your return address. USPS is becoming a bigger stickler right now, and they are stating that they want all return addresses to be in this upper corner. It bothers me too, because I just think that it's just so more aesthetically pleasing to be on the back flap, and this is still accepted, but they are recommending that you put it on the front. So it's a little bit of a gray area right now in the stationery world. But essentially, this envelope is what houses all of your cards. And in the past, wedding invitations often included something called an inner and an outer envelope. So this is the outer. This is the one that gets addressed with the postal address. An inner envelope would go then inside this envelope and would have the less formal names of those who are invited listed on the front of the inner envelope. I'll do another video on inner envelopes because actually the history on inner envelopes is actually really fascinating. I'm intrigued by it. I love it. So I'll do a video on that specifically. So that's it. So you have your invitation, your RSVP card, RSVP envelope, details card, outer envelope. Those are the things that are typically the basics. But then there are so many other things that can highlight the aesthetic of your wedding invitation suite and let your guests know exactly what style your wedding is going to be. So I wanted to go over some things that kind of house the whole wedding invitation suite, and starting with what's called a belly band. So this belly band would hold all of your cards together in this band. And this one in particular is a laser cut style. So we do offer laser cut style belly bands, or you can do solid color belly bands. This is a great option if you want to introduce texture. We've done lots of different textures of belly bands. We've done bamboo, something called rattan, various fabrics. I've gotten really creative with belly bands. So don't think that this is bottom of the barrel option. It can be super, super fun, bring in some great different design aesthetics to your wedding invitation suite. We can also print your names and your wedding date on them. This is called vellum. It's a semi-translucent paper that really goes well with a lot of the modern invitation suites that we're doing. So next is called a jacket. This is a wedding invitation jacket. And it essentially is a piece of paper that wraps around the wedding invitation suite, and it's often sealed by something, maybe a wax seal like you see here. And your wedding invitation cards go inside the jacket, and then it's pulled together. This one in particular is a printed invitation jacket. What you see here is a vellum invitation jacket. See how it's semi-translucent? You can begin to see the design of the wedding invitation beneath. And it's held together by this cross-hatching ribbon and a wax seal. I think that's very pretty. This is also a vellum jacket, but it's a printed vellum jacket. So some options there. We do paper, we can do velvet, we can do different fabric jackets. The sky's the limit on creativity, but essentially that's what that's called, is a jacket. So then we can move on to what is called a gatefold. This is a gatefold. This happens to be embossed and laser cut. And it's the same concept where it's wrapping around the wedding invitation and the different cards that are in, held by a closure, such as a wax seal, and it is something that is tying in the aesthetic of your wedding invitation in some way. We can move on to many brides choose to use ribbon. This is a beautiful flat knot, very popular at papermuse.co to use this flat knot ribbon. Also, when we use a flat knot as opposed to a bow, it mails more nicely. It goes through the mail more nicely, and it doesn't have a tendency to get caught on any of the machines that they go through. So that's a wonderful option. This is just kind of a cool option. This wedding invitation suite is one that I did for a dear friend of mine who had the coolest, most modern, epic wedding ever. And as you can see, this clip here is what was used to hold the wedding invitation suite together. And finally, something called pockets. This is a hugely popular way of kind of containing and pulling together